Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and I am sitting here in a hotel in Spring, Texas, just north of Houston. I considered Houston, I don't know, whatever, I'm in a hotel. Today's video's very old. This is part of the December quilt along. I decided to make this video early on in the year, but I was so exhausted in December that everything didn't get done, and then videos didn't get edited. I don't even know when I actually stitched this out, but I did this layout and then I stitched out. This quilt is done. I'll be home on Tuesday, so I'll put a picture of the finished quilt in next week's video because it's going to be kind of a 2-weeker. So this week we are working in ProStitcher Designer, and I am showing you how to do a custom layout for your ProStitcher done in ProStitcher Designer. And then I'm using the Reposition Zero button, and I'm laying everything out. So when I have my quilt loaded, I can go and just hit my Reposition Zero and everything's going to be laid out. It'll make more sense when we get into the video. I was just like thinking one day, I'm like, oh, I think I might be able to do that. It worked great. The stitching came out fantastic. I love it. And the quilt actually turned out pretty good. But this is like the first thing I quilted after I got out of my little bit of a funk. So like December through April, we'll say, I was just in a funk. There wasn't a lot of stitching going on. And, you know, sometimes it happens. It happens to all of us. You're allowed to be funky and go through funks and get in that headspace. And sometimes it's really hard to get out. And that's okay. Because you're not alone. We all get there. We all do it. But I loved this stuff. Like, I almost just deleted everything. I thought this was such a cool technique that some of you might use. This is going to be great for you negative space quilters. It was just like, I think it's pretty handy to be able to know how to do. So we're going to jump into Designer. This video is going to be doing the setup in Designer, how I did it, and some other functions that Designer can do that you probably don't know, because I know that I didn't, and then I found out and I was like, wow. Using fills and things. And then next week will be actually how I loaded the quilt up and stitched it out. And then the free motion of it. It's funny because I was free motioning this, and this actually was one of the reasons I got out of my funk, because I was free motioning this quilt, and I was totally just messing up because I just went for it. It was what it was, right? It's the first thing I did when I got back. So I was excited to get it done, and like I said, I love the way the quilt turned out. I love that this actually worked. And I was able to lay out and just hit one button, everything lined up, and I was ready to go. So I hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when the new videos drop. Try to come out every week, but it's just not, they're coming out when they come out. Most of the time it's every week, but like we missed one last week. That's okay. It is life. I'm on the road. I am going to be home for like 1 day, and then I leave, and then I'm home for 2 days, and then I leave, and then I'm home for 3 days, and then I leave for 2 weeks, and then I'm home, and like it just is what it is. So I don't know if we're going to do December quilt along this year. I want to. I'm going to be home. It's new life, new me at the end of Thanksgiving. That's when my life with Handy Quilter is going to be at the end. I leave Handy Quilter at the end of Thanksgiving. Still going to make videos, still going to have my machine, still love the company, still love ProStitcher. I'm just not going to be a natural educator for them. So I can go around, I can still teach, but I can teach in a lot of other places. So it's exciting. 2024 is going to be a crazy year, and we're going to see what happens. So don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on social media, Adam So Fun with an S-E-W on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on TikTok too, but not a ton. And then, yeah. We'll see you on the flip side at the end of this video. Bye, everybody. I hope you enjoy this. Like I said, I think this technique is cool, and really just using the fills in ProStitcher Designer is worth it. So, all right, we'll see you in a second. All right, everyone. Here we are. We're in ProStitcher Designer, and I wanted to show you a trick that I was thinking about last night when I was laying in bed, because we know we have that position 0 function. So what I did is I recreated my quilt. Usually when we make a block, I'm going to go to tools or an artwork, anything we make, let's say a hexagon, and I create this. I'm going to hit Q on the keyboard to select it. Right here it says type outline. That's usually what we're used to seeing, but I can hit this drop down and hit fill and then hit apply, and now that's a solid piece. It won't quilt like that when you assign stitches. It's still going to be the outline, but you can see that as a solid piece. So I did that for my background, and I made this the same size as my quilt. So it's 38 by 48 or whatever the quilt is.
Then I moved this block. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hit Z and zoom in. I moved the top left corner of the block to the top left corner, or to my 0, 0. So you can see up here on my ruler, there's a 0. Over here, it's a 0. Because the idea is I'm going to do my quilt layout for my pieces, put them all on the quilt, and then when I load my quilt up, I can put my needle at the top left corner of my quilt, open that design and reposition 0, and everything will be laid out exactly how it is laid out here in ProStitcher Designer. I'm going to hit spacebar. So that was my first step. I made my background. So I made the background of my quilt and lined it up the top left corner at 0, 0, and then put everything, and then I went in and I started building my blocks. So these blocks are the same size as my quilt. So this is a 2x2, this is a 5x5. And they're in the exact same position as my quilt itself, how it's laid out. So this one is 10 inches from the left, 2 inches from the top, because we have that 2-inch border. This one is 10 inches from the left, 4 inches from the top, because I have a 2-inch block here and a 2-inch border. Now I have 9 inches from the top, 3 inches from the left. And I just went and measured my quilt. I'm gonna hit space bar. And then I grouped all of my stars, or my snowflakes, we're gonna call them snowflakes. Over here, we're going to look at my sequence view. Oops. And you'll see that it's a group. You'll also see right here this padlock is locked. So I can see what my group is, and then I can see that locked padlock. If I come over to my select tool and I try to click on this, I'm clicking. It's not doing anything. They're locked. I can't move them. And that's because I wanted to do a layout for my actual stitching, but I didn't want to move anything on accident. I'm going to select this one, not locked, so I can move it around. I'm going to delete that. And if we look over here, I have this group, and if I hover over, I can see all of the different pieces in that group. And my lock is open, which means I can still manipulate it. But right here, you see this cross. This is the eyeball, and this is saying I don't want to see this right now. So it's like when people go into the View tab in ProStitcher and they turn off the design or turn off the area and then they can't see anything. Like you can see your jumps, but you can't see anything else. That's kind of what this eye is going to do. So I'm going to hit the eye one more time. And now there is my layout. Some of these are quilting off. I like to quilt off into the, like we're quilting off of the quilt. That's fine. So the gray blocks are the blocks I'm going to stitch out. And the white blocks are the blocks that are pieced. So what I did is I took my group of white blocks, I mirrored and flipped it, and then stuck it over on the right side. They're still in line in the same lineup, so the top pieces and the bottom pieces are going to line up, not including these extra pieces here. So it's like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The little zigzag, these are the original, and then all the other little pieces I sprinkled in there. That looks like it's a little bit of a dead space, but we'll look at it whenever I actually stitch it. I think it's only probably, I think that's a 5-inch block, maybe 7-inch block, so it's not even a full, I guess it is a full 7 inches. We'll see, I might have to put something over there. But I can always do that at the machine. So now I have my layout. And so these are currently filled. I'm going to select them and just come over here to my sidebar where it says type. I'm going to say outline, apply. So now this is where those are going to stitch, and this is what it's going to look like. And oh, I don't like that one right there. Oh no, they're supposed to be that close because they're close up here. Like that's really close. So if this is how I wanted to do this, they're grouped up, so I can't move one without moving another, and I think I just accidentally moved it. I gotta zoom in. We're gonna turn this one off, and I'm gonna come in and hit zoom, because I did move it up a little bit. Oops. Because I want these to be somewhat lined up. They might not be perfectly lined up. The other thing, I know I pieced these together. I don't really want these two grouped together. So I'm gonna ungroup, I'm gonna go to my group, right click, say ungroup, and then I can zoom in just to this one block, and I might move it down a 1/2 inch, maybe even a full inch. Is that going to put it too close to the bottom? No. I can always come back and say, let me see what it looks like. No, I like that. So once I have, I'm going to regroup these. So I'm going to select my color over on the sidebar because it'll select everything that's gray. Right click and group. And the other thing I did, we're going to preview, and I'm going to select these and preview stitches, and you'll see my path. So it's going to stitch this one, jump to here, jump to there, jump to there, jump back to here, and you can see my path. I went in and I went to this group and I rearranged the stitch order of all of these designs to stitch the way I wanted to stitch, because I think it's 13 designs. Let's see, 14 designs. To stitch in my order, because I like to stitch in a specific order. So just something you can do. I just remembered, no, I'm going to stitch horizontal line, so I'll go right to left. So I think when I stitch this out, I'm going to go down and stitch all of my pieces in, and then start at the bottom with my straight line quilting and just come back up and straight line quilt this. So we'll see. We'll see when I actually get to the machine, or we'll see when I actually get to the machine how I stitch it out. But I don't know. We'll see. I just have to go File, Save As, and I save this as an HQ. We have to save it as an HQV because we want to be able to do that Reposition Zero. And I just named it my Blue Snowflake ASF video. So I'm going to put that on a USB and go from there. So that's a quick tip.
All right, so that's it. I'm kind of laughing at myself because my lips look really red and kind of like pouty right now, and I don't know why. I have no clue, but I think it's the lighting. But yeah, I hope this video made sense. I hope that it's something that you might try. Maybe it's very specific. Like, I wouldn't do this if I had some really intricate blocks thinking like, ooh, I'm gonna line it up and it's gonna be perfect. Not gonna even try that. I mean, I would rather use mark or rulers or things to do those echoes and stuff. But when it's just some negative space quilting, I think that this turned out fantastic. Next week we'll actually stitch it out, so you'll be able to see all that. But yeah, thanks for watching. And as always, at the end of the day, it's just a quilt. We want to have a good time. So if you're in a funk, that's okay. But like, let's get yourself out. Let me know what I need to do for you to help you out of that funk, okay? Love each other. Go quilt. Aloha, because when the next video comes out, I will be in Hawaii. But yeah, love you all. See you in the next one.